Hi guys, so this is the next update on my terrain project, or diorama project rather, for IDICBeers competition. And this is where I'm at the moment. I put down some of this jointing compound yesterday afternoon, early evening-ish, and it took longer to dry than I expected, but that could be to do with conditions here. I don't know about that, but anyway, it's dried rock solid, which is great, and there's absolutely no cracks that I can see in this whatsoever. All of the little lines that you can see that the camera's picking up there, that's just shadow being cast on the ridges that were left, because the tool that I'm using isn't, it's just a little plastic paster thing. It's covered in it's covered in the compound at the minute, so you can't see it, but what I'm going to do today is just give you a quick look at what I'm doing with this stuff. The stuff that I'm using is called, the brand is Tetrion. It's an easy-on joint and filler compound. It comes in powder form. Came in these little white bags in a big sack to help keep it fresh in the little bags. And essentially you just add water to it and you end up with a mix that's sort of a bit like this. It's sort of, it's a bit gloopy because I've mixed this up quite thick. I'm sure if you mix it up with more water you can make it so that it's easier to make it smoother or whatever. But this, I wanted it quite thick for this, and it's got quite a nice rough finish to it as well. If I could get this to be smooth, it might be quite a nice sort of rocky, earthy type texture. But anyway, that's by the by, because this is getting covered anyway, so that's not going to be happening with this project anyway. So essentially all I'm doing with this stuff is using the paster and just sort of slapping a load on. And then just sort of spreading it out with the paster, and it takes a bit of sort of pushing backwards and forwards to kind of get it into where you want it to be, but it's good stuff. It seems to work really well. It does the job that I want it to incredibly well indeed. I'm really pleased that this has worked out. I don't, if you guys saw my Facebook, you might have realised that I was a bit concerned about how this was going to work out, because if it didn't go the way I hoped it would, then I didn't really have a backup plan. This is pretty much it. So if this hadn't have worked, I would have been stuck. I wouldn't have known sort of how to proceed with this project. I'm sure I would have been able to work something out, but it would have been rather stressful trying to work something out at the last minute. Well, I know it's not quite the last minute yet, but of course, you know, when you start getting setbacks of like a few days here and a couple of days there, it all kind of adds up, and then you find yourself you've only got a few days left to do a project that you should have been working on for months. Well, not months, but weeks. So I'm glad that I've managed to avoid all of that stress by this working. And part of the idea of using this stuff, or a thought that I had about using this stuff, was that I might be able to sort of sculpt some extra detail into it, like for the rocks and things. But it's, I don't know, it's not going on sort of as easily as I would have liked for that. And if I mixed it up thicker, it might be easier to work with in that sense. But at the moment, I think what I'm going to do is use this to effectively build up the areas like sort of snowbanks and things. See how that goes with it, just so that when I lay stuff down over the top, it kind of has the desired effect. And then if there's any specific sort of details that I want to put in place, like specific rocks, I can use green stuff for that. But again, we'll see how it goes, because I don't know yet. It has a quite a nice effect on it when you stipple it, I suppose is the word. It kind of peaks quite nicely, like the little spikes that come up and hold themselves. It's a bit like, sort of makes me think of like decorating a cake, which is, yeah, I haven't been tempted to try any of this stuff yet, see what it tastes like. And I think I'm going to continue avoiding that. I don't think it would taste very good. I could be wrong. I'm not going to recommend anyone tries it, but if anyone has, actually it's, given what it is, it's probably very bad for you to ingest, so I will actually recommend against doing anything like that. So yeah, what's going on with this, guys, is that the boat, you guys might remember the boat, if you've seen the pictures, is going to go here. It's going to be landing here, and the Germans are going to be making their way up this slope on this side, and the Vikings are going to be defending the rope bridge, which is going to be going across here, which I haven't started building that yet, but I'll be getting onto that. I've got some balsa wood and some string for that. Well, I call it string, it's fancy string. It's rigging material, whatever I can't remember what they called it now. Rigging thread, there you go. So that should be good. Nice little bit of construction going on there. But yeah, this is all I'm going to do on camera, guys. I want to get into this so I can actually get this layer finished. I might do, when all this area is done as well, what I might do is, you can sand it once it's dry, which is great, and that'll be able to allow me to smooth it out quite a bit in certain areas. What I might do is skim over it again once all of this is dry with sort of a much wetter mix, so that it's more sort of self-leveling and easier to get smooth, just to sort of skim over the top of it. But we'll see how it goes. This is it for now, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.